Yes. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning group. Hello, visitors, people we haven't seen for a while, or new folks that are here. And welcome, live streamers. Thank you for joining us today. You guys, most of you know this, but we're in New England. It's nice and cold outside. For many of us, we found the temperature in the lower teens yesterday, and then we were actually up in the mountains a little bit and found 10 degrees. It was kind of cold up there, very cold actually. I went in my hot tub yesterday morning. I haven't been in it in a while, and it was so cold with the wind hitting me that I had to cover my face up to get the numbness to go away. But I just loved it, because from here down, I'm 104 degrees. So much fun. Yeah. So I love the winter for that. I think that's about it. I think that's about it. I had my first surprise being a New Englander. I had my first surprise with a heating unit in our house last night. We came back from Lisa's sisters and her mom. We had Thanksgiving dinner with them up in the mountains, and got back home. We were going to watch like a movie or something, and I started saying, wow, it feels kind of cold in here. Why is it so cold? And Lisa said, you got to put the storms on still, Bill. And I said, no, it's colder than that. And I looked at the temperature. It was 55 in the house. I'm going, 55? The bottom is supposed to be 64, 66. What's wrong? So I went into the basement. I saw this flashing light where the boiler is. Now, I'm from Florida for 25 years, and before that, Texas. So I don't really, and I'm a general contractor, but I do not know how a boiler works yet. I know now, because that flashing light is a reset button. And then if that doesn't work, I have a neighbor down the street that I help do a few things. So I said, Brian, what does this flashing light mean? He said, that reset button, try hitting that reset button. So I did. Oh, it came right on. Oh, awesome. And then I went upstairs. And I said, it's working. And I went back downstairs. It's off. I called Brian back, and Brian goes, try it again, and if it's not working, you got a problem. I said, okay, so do you know a heating guy in the area? So he did. He had a neighbor that's like almost next door to us who's a heating guy. So he gave me his phone number. And then he texted me about 5 minutes later, and he said, did you check the fuel? And I said, no, I'll check it. I got my hammer out, and I'm checking the tank. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going, oh, shit, there's no fuel. How could we be out of fuel and it's 10 degrees outside? So I started turning heaters on in the house. And then Brian said, I got a gas can. You go get some diesel for it. And so that's what I started doing. And then the heating guy called me back, the other neighbor, and he said, you need 15 gallons. So I said, okay, I need to make 2 trips. And so I started putting the diesel fuel in the spout that comes up the outside of your house. Because the tank, the boiler tank, you guys that are watching that don't know all of these things, I knew none of this, except I knew where the boiler is and where the tank is. And so I filled up, I went and got the 15 gallons, freezing cold, to where your hands hurt, when they get that cold. They don't hurt while you're cold so much, they hurt when it's thawing out. So I was going to the gas station and getting the fuel and breathing on my hands to get them, cool, warmed up a little bit. Then I got the fuel in it, and then you have to bleed those things, like you bleed brakes on a car. Well, you got to know how to do that too. But the heating guy is on the phone with me, and he's telling me, okay, open that up, because when he first said the bleeder valve, I took the whole nut thing out, the whole thing. I just unscrewed it, put it back in, and I was listening to his instructions. And he told me to hold the button down to keep it bleeding, and then have a bucket there for the fuel to go into. And then, bam, came right on. So that was our. Hmm? No, I have autofill. I've had autofill for 4 years. And my next step after getting the heat on was to email the people who do the autofill. I said, hey, Ann, we ran out of fuel. What happened? Because it's on a credit card that has, I keep plenty of space on the credit card so doesn't run out of money. And they were at our house at 8 o'clock this morning filling it up. Yeah. Yeah, they said they didn't expect the cold snap that we had. And they're short of drivers right now. So anyway, it was I had a great experience. So I'm just sharing that with all of you. That's my drama for Thanksgiving Day, and it was fun. And I learned how to work a boiler now. So I think I'm almost officially a New Englander. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah. I had gloves on. They were too thin. The cold went right through them. Yeah. A few announcements. Well, the TR room, the transformation room is, you can go on the waiting list, and we're going to give you a link to all of these things I'm going to talk about here in a minute. We're just going to give you a blast of links. Okay, so Bonnie put the links up for the transformation room waiting list that opens up for 4 days at the end of this month. Awaken to Love. If you guys, anybody in here been watching Awaken to Love? It is fantastic. Man, it is so good. There's over 100 teachers on Awaken to Love. And I mean, I've watched about 20 of them, and there's a few of them that are profound. Really good. Really good. Lisa Natoli's one of them. She gave a great talk. Maria Felipe. If you don't know Carrie Triffitt, make sure you watch her. She's amazing. And I heard that Bill Free is there too. You can watch his video. But here's the best part, you guys. Awaken to Love, they have about 12,000 people that signed up so far. And we were thinking that it was going to be like $300 for the package to be able to watch them. You get the whole library of 100 teachers plus I don't know how many live events, probably another 40 live events. They have a sliding scale of 33, 50, or $100, and you have the whole basket of all of those teachers. It's like, how can you not pay $33 for having all of those available whenever you want to click on it and see I wonder what this teacher's like. And Marianne Williamson is on there, and Diedrich Walzak, and a lot of really great. Jimmy Twyman is going to be there, I think, either today or tomorrow. So anyway, Awaken to Love, and there's a link for you guys online. Another event that's coming up is Lisa's doing a webinar to help people to, actually she's going to talk about the workbook lessons in A Course in Miracles and the importance of doing the workbook lessons. And she is going to have a special gift, a special offer on December 18th for the Guide to 365 for you guys that would like to do the workbook lessons in 2019 and have her commentary as a part of that. It really supports you in doing the workbook lessons in a year. And I've heard really great things about the people who have listened to her commentaries. And then finally, no, not almost, it's almost finally. Lisa is doing a event in Mexico, February 24th to the 28th. And it's part of her Healing Cure course that she's writing, and she's about getting ready to go online with it. But you guys will be the first to hear it in person and to actually have the demonstration of the Healing Cure. And so far, I decided I'm not going. So far, it's like a women's thing. So you guys enjoy your women time together down in Mexico. And then finally, we're doing the Camino again in 2019. Lisa and I will lead a team, and it's not, there won't be any teaching on it, but it is so much fun. And everyone has their own Camino Plus, you make connections that are lifetime connections. And if you want to know more about that, go to lisanatoli.com. And that's it for announcements. That's a lot of announcements. Oh, Maggie has something.
Yeah, get a microphone, please. No, you can just tell.
I can just say.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock here at Unity is October service.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock here at Unity is October service. Great. Okay. It's what?
October Craig.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, October Craig. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, there's a service for October Craig. I just want to pause for October Craig and Peter. They're lovely beings that I know personally. And she passed the other day. I just know that she is just reveling in her whole identity right now. So we just want to send our love and blessings to October. We love you, October, who was here in the body, and also Peter, her husband, who took care of her for many years. So bless them. And without further ado, we're going to stand and everybody have a meet and greet, and live streamers will be right back for Lisa Natoli. And I'm going to leave the mic on.
Hi, warm me up, right? Yeah, right? You look warm. Yeah, right.
That's because I'm going to go do some carpenter work.
Oh, okay. But,
I'm like, putting up a roof.
yeah.
I'm going to go help.
Did you want someone to do it?
Oh, yeah. You know,
Namaste, Linda. Namaste, Lara.
Hi. Cheryl. I'm a friend of yours. Yeah. Your name is Linda. Yes. I've been watching online. So I see what a lot of people say. I mean, like, I feel like I know these people. Yeah? Oh, yeah. I came once before. I've been watching. Going to Jersey.
Yeah, right.
You should stay out.
She doesn't make it hot, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. She's like right on it. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I know. Where's Miss Linda? Oh, where do we go here? Hi there. Good morning.
Morning. My name's John.
John.
I've been following you online. I signed up for something else. Yeah. I'm in there like this. I don't know how many. Is that a year program?
6 months.
Right, I said.
You're never behind on that, believe me.
Yeah, I'm like
Buddy.
trying to get this.
Good morning.
Okay. We're gonna.
Okay.
Becky's gonna do the reading for us. Okay, we're gonna have a seat, everyone. Welcome. Wow, we had a big crowd come in right there. We're gonna have to grab some more chairs from the sanctuary. So you guys. Barack is here. Good morning. Namaste. Welcome.
I would do it, but I got
Okay, we're going to have to grab some more chairs from the sanctuary, and everyone please have a seat. Where'd that crowd of people come from? Wow. Look who's here. Yes, I met Baraka. He was we were expecting you. Did you come with Vic? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, this is a celebration all of a sudden. Look at this. Very nice. Very nice. So we're Becky's gonna come and do our reading for the day for the cafe out of the Cafe Gratitude book, and thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'll do this really quick, and I think this is a pretty fitting one for today, November 23rd, right? Am I on the right day? Okay. No act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. Smile, hug, just not giving someone the finger when you're driving. That's a good act of kindness. When do you experience love is the question for the day. So, and I'm going to leave it there unless anyone else has something to say. And I'm going to, where's Bill? Am I handing this off to Miss Lisa?
No, I'm going to introduce her.
Well, you better get, no, you do a good job. Or I can, or what?
Go Becky, go Becky, go Becky. Go Becky.
Go, Bill.
Okay. All right.
Still triple fat.
I don't remember what your talk is today. Huh? It's going to be good. So, everyone, please give a warm welcome to Lisa Natoli. How's that? See, you could have done that.
I'll introduce myself. That's funny. Good morning, everybody. So welcome to Friday morning, A Course in Miracles, and it's a new beginning. It's always a new beginning. So I want everyone to acknowledge the past is over. Can everybody get on board with that? Yeah. Okay. And today I'm going to give a practice, and I might give it first. I love practices. I love things that you can do. And A Course in Miracles is an undoing. So it's a little bit of a paradox because Jesus gives us these practices that seems like it's a doing, but actually it's an undoing. And what I want to talk to you today is the fastest way to get stuck energies unstuck is what I'm going to be talking about. And today we're going to do a fun practice, and I'm going to have you come up with 3 things that you are going to make appear and 3 things you are going to make disappear. Okay? And it might seem like a little bit of a manifestation, but the purpose of the exercise is to show you how powerful you are. So it actually has nothing to do with the thing you want to appear and the thing you want to disappear. I want you to really see directly, firsthand, that everything's coming from you. And everything has to do with your attention and your focus, your intention. And I'm going to be reading from chapter 28 from A Course in Miracles. Yes, I know. My mind's been on it. We have a special guest in the house today, Baraka. Where are you from? You're from Florida. Okay. Well, Baraka came on my radar a week ago, I think it was. And there's this great online community called the Transformation Room. And I pop in there every now and again. And I know, right? That's him. And it's just this incredible community that has been created by the Teachers of God Foundation, specifically Linda Leland and Amy Starr Allen. They are really, this was their vision to start this weekly inspiration, practical application, and community support to keep you on track with your transformation, because often the biggest difficulty is the slide back. You fall back into old patterns. And about a week ago, you posted in there, never seen you before, never heard about you before. And he posted this story about a kind of scary thing that he had to go do that morning. And halfway through the post, I saw the shift. Like you were explaining this. You know, we all have these potentially scary things that are in front of us, either our health or a bill, or you're going to lose something, or something's happening. And the mind training of A Course in Miracles gives you practices to see what you're doing and stand still. And I'm going to just tell you before we even get going, and then you can leave if you want. But the fastest way to get stuck energies unstuck is stillness. That's the fastest way, because we think it's about doing. Like, I have to get these energies unstuck. And so you showed up on my radar that day. I was just filled with gratitude for your practicing, really. And now you're here. You're like physically here. So that's really how that goes. When you really have something in your mind, it literally can appear in front of you physically, and you don't even know how it got there, and it doesn't even matter. So what I wanted to talk about was this idea how so many people who want to get stuck energies unstuck. So what does that mean? You know, you feel tired, or you feel like you have no energy, you feel uninspired. And what we do as humans is we think, well, I have to do something. And in spiritual circles, one of the big things is I just need to be more generous. I need to be more kind. I need to be more loving. And that's not it. That is just not it. And anybody who's ever tried that knows that that's not it. Like, whenever you've made a decision that I'm just going to be joyful, that's it. I can see that joy heals. I've read about it. So I'm just going to be joyful. Who's done that before? Who's decided they're going to be more generous? I'm just going to give. Just going to give. I'm just going to serve. I'm just going to be truly helpful. I'm just going to be the light of the world. Right? Easy, right? Well, what happens? You get pissed off. You just like, fuck, excuse me. Like nobody's like giving back to me. Like, I'm being so generous and I'm being so kind. Screw you all, because nobody gets me, right? You can do it for like an hour or a day or a week. But the reason it doesn't work is because you decided to be kind, generous, loving from the location of the thought system of fear. So you've locked on this spiritual idea, like, what's that saying? You put sugar on shit.
Yeah.
Right? It still stinks.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, you put a spiritual idea on top of all your fear. It's kind of like taking nothing, or taking something that's totally no value and putting it in a nice box, wrapping it up in a nice bow and beautiful wrapping, and then giving it to somebody. You're not giving anything. So that's why I love A Course in Miracles so much, because A Course in Miracles says quite simply, the miracle does nothing. All it does is to undo. So the work is not to make a decision to be more kind, more loving, more generous, more happy. The decision is stillness, and watch what your mind is doing. Watch for your grievances, your judgments, your shame, your blame, your guilt, and be willing to have it be removed from you. And as these blocks and these obstacles, which we put there, and that's what I'm going to read today in chapter 28, is one of my favorite ideas from A Course in Miracles. Miracles reflect this simple statement: I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. So whatever seems to be happening in your so-called physical world, whatever it is, no money, no health, bad relationships, whatever it is, I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. The world is full of miracles. The body is released because the mind acknowledges this is not done to me. I'm not a victim. I am doing this. That's amazing. The body is released because the mind acknowledges this is not done to me, but I am doing this. And thus the mind is free to make another choice instead. So you can't make another choice instead until you get to the place where you acknowledge, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And I'm excited for this practice. I'm going to do it now. I was talking to our good friend James over there, who's going on the Camino with us, right? We're going on the Camino again in June 2019. We went last year with a group of 20 friends. It was awesome. And I'm not teaching, so it's important that everyone knows that this is not a teaching trip. And the Camino is a spiritual walk. It's been around for thousands of years. St. Francis of Assisi did it. James, Jesus' brother, did it. Thousands upon thousands of people have taken this walk over the years. It's really a 500-mile walk. If you do the whole thing, you can come from France or from Portugal, and you end up in Spain, in Santiago. And people who decide to do the Camino, it's really a decision to go within for the people who've done it. And what's cool about the Camino is that it's unlike walking here in the United States, because when you decide to walk here in the United States, people think you're homeless. You know, they just think like, but there it's celebrated. It's acknowledged that there's a whole community and you're a pilgrim on the path. And the entire community in Portugal, Spain, France, everywhere you go, whatever route you go, there's business owners who are making it more affordable and easy for you to go do this. So the coffees are super cheap. The lodging is just like down here price-wise. And so James this morning, I mentioned the Camino. He said, oh, I really want to go. I said, well, okay, why aren't you coming? He said, money. I said, oh, okay, hold on. Because that's what I really, hold on a second. Because what I want for each of you to really step into today, and you can do this, okay? Healing is an ability. You have the ability to change your mind. You have the ability to make choices. You have the ability to see what you're doing and to say, that's enough of that. So I would love if each of you, I know Barack is laughing because you get it, right? Makes sense. This is practical. That from now on, you never use your health or money or other situations as your excuse not to do something. I want you to really step into responsibility from now on. So if you don't want to go to work, don't get sick. Just say, I don't feel like going to work today. But see, we don't dare to do that. So we instead, because we're so powerful, we just get sick. Oh, now I have an excuse. I can call in sick. Or you don't want people bothering you, right? You don't want people coming to you asking for your money. Oh, I know. I'll just decide I won't have any. That way nobody can ask me for anybody. Everybody can leave me alone, right? We don't think this way in the world, but this is how it goes. Like we set up defenses for ourselves to keep ourselves weak and frail and limited. And today I want you to see how powerful you are. So what would be more honest, I told James, would be just to say, I don't want to go on the Camino. That would be the honest thing to say. Like you say, I want to go, but I can't. Because that's how it works. I want to, but I can't because I'm sick. And the total responsibility that Jesus and your true self is calling you to is just to step forth and say, I don't want to, no thank you. Right? But we don't do that. We just think like, oh, I can't because I have no money. I can't because I'm sick. Oh, I can't because, and then fill in the blank. But, and what happens in transformation, and I think this is why it's important to have a community, is the moment you step into your power, you start stepping into it, you are going to get, what's that word you sometimes use? Fallback or flat, what's it called when somebody gives you, you have this word you use, pushback. I like that word. So you're in, what A Course in Miracles tells us is that the figures in your so-called world are you. So you're going to start to get resistance from other people when you start to step into your power. And it's going to look like, I'm not doing it, they're doing it. But it's actually your own resistance. So when you start to step fully into this place of impeccability, really stepping into your full power, the presence that you are, it's going to make the people in your life afraid. Just is, because you're afraid. So then you start to have, and people start to say, well, who do you think you are? And you're selfish, you're being self-centered, you're so whatever, you know. And so to have a community of other people who are practicing in this way is very valuable, because then you can really test out these ideas. And that's what I'm all about as a teacher, is to have people see directly the power and the presence that is within you. And then you're not looking to me anymore. You're not looking to other teachers anymore. You're recognizing, oh, I see. So I'm going to pass. Yes, of course. Where's the mic? Oh, you have it.
This is some pushback.
Ha! I got pushback already.
This is some pushback.
Okay.
And I don't think it's not real pushback, but you made a statement that if James doesn't, if he says I have no money, you made a statement that means, why don't you just say I don't want to go? And the pushback is, it's a belief that he has no money, and there's a belief of doubt.
Mhm.
And James actually does want to go, but he's believing in the belief that he has no money, or that money is a matter of concern about being able to go. So is it true that he doesn't want to go just because he makes that statement?
Well, that's good, and that is actually what I was going to do in this, because when you want something to appear, there has to be also a total place of no attachment and letting go. So it's a paradox, because again, the list I'm going to have you write today has nothing to do with the list, but it is to show you the different beliefs that you're holding about yourself. So that's true what you said, Bill. Like it's a belief. And so you're going to find the belief in the exercise. You begin, and what also that I have discovered in these kinds of practices is that sometimes you think you want something, you actually don't want it. When you actually put it down on paper, you're like, I don't actually really want to do that. Like if I had that kind of money, I'd rather go do this instead, or I'd rather go do, it's just, but what the mind does when it's sleeping is that it just keeps filling itself with different ideas. There's no clarity. And the attention keeps going to, it's like you keep getting pulled off to this possibility and this possibility and this possibility. But when you really get clear on it, because the end goal is not any of these things we're going to put on here. The end goal of all of this is to know yourself, your true self, to know you are one with all. And that's why I'm going to go back to chapter 28 today. I did a 7-minute video on the Teachers of God website this week for the weekly blog, and every other week, I should say. And I gave the practice that's from chapter 28 about filling the gap between you and another with love. So Jesus says that as a body, you think there's a gap between you and others. And what we do as bodies is we leave the gap unoccupied. I meet another, and I think I'm a body and you're a body, and there's this space between us. And when I don't know myself, I don't acknowledge that our minds are joined as one, that there's no space between us at all. We are one. I'm one with all of you. There's not a single space between us. I'm in your mind. You're in my mind. I put you there. You put me here. Like, it's an amazing thing when you start to think of this as a hologram. Like, you start, like Vicky, I love you so much that you're here, because Vic is really all about play. Like playfulness, like bringing back the play. So to play with the idea that this idea is true. Like, what if that person who's outside of you is in your mind? The person you love, the person you don't love, your friend, your enemy, all you. And for you to start seeing in that way, that's what Christ's vision is. And so the practice that I gave this week from chapter 28 is, as a miracle worker, you don't leave the gap unoccupied anymore. You fill it with love. And you don't have to do that with words. You do it wordlessly. And if it comes to you to give words, you give words. But it really is now, whenever you meet another, it's like you're not allowing your brother to remain separate. And that's what I'm going to read in a bit. Like, you don't, no matter what anyone says anymore, I'm sick, I have cancer, someone just died, I'm so sad. Whatever it is, you don't join them in the story, but you join them. That's the difference. You join your brother, but you don't join the dream. You don't join their story. And you recognize when you're with another, because this is like a big step for me over the years, because for a long time I just kept thinking it's all an illusion, none of it's real. So it really was like I had my head in the sand. But as Jesus, as a trainer and as a teacher, working with each of our minds, I got to really see that I don't have to look away anymore. I don't have to pretend that the sickness that my brother is showing to me is real or not real. What I have to do is just recognize that this is my brother whom I love, and illusions still persist. Not a problem. Not a problem. Because I have done this thing and it's this I would undo. And so you start to really see now how you can heal yourself and heal others. Because you are holding the truth at all times, no matter what. No matter what someone brings you. I've started reading Carlos Castaneda again. I just love that guy so much. And I heard, those of us going to Mexico, do you guys know Carlos Castaneda? His troop, those warriors down there, they're from Guadalajara. I know, right? We got to go. I know. We're going. Funny. Okay, so everyone take a card and pass them out. And you guys at home, get a piece of paper. Does anybody have pens? Can you pass them back there too?
Yeah, I'm flinging them. Anybody need a pen?
I think I might have some extra pens too.
Got one more.
I have a pen. Ha.
Everyone got one? Sandy?
Gotta have one.
Wow.
Okay, so what you're going to do on the card,
The live streamers all have the cards and
Okay, everybody got pen and paper out there? We're just going to have fun with this, is what I'm asking you to do. I want you to come up on one side of the card with 3 things that you are going to appear. Okay, so I want you to come up with something. I ask for you to keep it within the realm of something that's outside of what's you're currently doing, but not so out there. Like, please nobody put win the lottery or millions of dollars. Because this exercise isn't about the thing. This exercise is about you seeing your power. I really want you to see how you can really recognize that this world is not real. So I just want you to come up with, it can be an object, and it's not going to be today. So we're not going to, some of you will actually make things appear today, but what I want you to do is just write down something you want to manifest, something you would just love to see in your experience, an object, a situation, a person, whatever it is. So just 3 things.
So just one thing, not 3 things.
You can do 1 thing if you want, but 3 things is fun. And also on your list of things you want to appear, don't put on the negative side. So, because that'll be on your things you want to disappear, which is on the other side. So if you want to lose weight, that's not what you want to appear. You want something that's not in your experience now that you just would like to appear. Three things? Okay. So on the other side of the card, turn it over. I want you to write down 3 things you want to disappear. So it can be excess weight, an addiction, a sickness, a person. But if it's going to be a person, I'm going to talk about this exercise in this card. You can't wish them to die or wish bad things for them. Okay, like it has to. Some people will do that. Like this really is like whatever you want to disappear in your experience. So it can be a difficult situation, a difficult person, whatever it is. You're so fast. Do we have any questions on the board, Bonnie? Okay, so what I want you to do is go to your things you're going to appear list. And I want you to just look over the first item. And I want you to move beyond the form of it. So the thing you want to appear probably has a form because you want it to appear, right? And I want you to move into the content behind the form, the feeling. What is that thing going to bring you? What is it? It has something you want that you think you don't have now. And that the getting of the thing is going to bring you an emotion, an experience, something. And I want you to move into it. right now. You have it. It's already here. You have it. The form hasn't arrived yet, but you have it, and you're using it. And in the using of it and the having it, it probably means that you've shifted your energy somehow. Like you've really moved into the accomplishment. Like whenever you want something, there's an off-centeredness about that. There's something missing from your experience, right? So now you're moving into the total accomplishment of it. And in the having of this thing, you're going to show up in a new way, right? You're going to be doing things differently. Because what we do in the world is we keep thinking, well, I will be this certain way when the thing appears. And we keep waiting. We keep waiting for the thing to appear. But I invite you to step in now, knowing the thing has arrived. It's already here. And now let it go. Just let the thing on the first thing go. Now move to the second thing. Same thing. And if you have it, it means you're no longer trying to get it, right? Most of our energy is used trying to make something happen and to get something. But if you already have it, that getting mechanism is gone. You're not trying anymore. You're not efforting. There's a relaxation about it. There's like I said, the feeling of accomplishment. It's already here. You're not struggling anymore. So moving into the feeling of having it. Now let it go. Now move on to the third thing. And I want you to feel excitement. Who can feel excitement here? To move into a feeling of enthusiasm. Who can't do that? Is there anybody here who cannot move into excitement? Everybody can do it. And that's what Jesus means when Jesus says healing is an ability. You have the ability to move into any state of mind you want to move into right now. And that's why the miracle takes no time. That's why there's no order of difficulty in miracles. That is why there is no order of difficulty in healing. Because the state of healing is already accomplished. You're already healed and whole and perfect. You already have everything. Because the only thing that you came in with is the light of God. It's the only thing Jesus had. It's why he's known as the greatest teacher and healer who ever lived, because he acknowledged that light. He knew his oneness with it, and he was using it. He was just not letting it sit there unused. And when you don't use something, you lose it. And so the light is within us, every single one of you. There is a light within you. This light can heal anything, transform anything, change anything. But we don't even know about it. And so you start to acknowledge it. And Jesus says, this light came with you from your native home. And it's the only thing you take with you. So now it's just a matter of using it, right? So the exercise that I gave for the blog this week is to begin acknowledging this holiness. This exercise is one of the exercises I'm putting in the Healing Cure program, which I'm still writing, and I'm having so much fun with it because I'm adding practices like this in it that I want to move into fun. Fun is the operative word. Thank you, Vicki. Vicki Thomas has given me this word. I just redid my entire About Us page this week because I'm like, my God, my website is so boring. I was like, it always says I'm a Course in Miracles teacher, I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm an author. People are like, what do you do? I teach a Course in Miracles. Boring. Right? I know, it's so boring. So I'm like, What do I really want to tell people? I want to tell people I'm an impeccable warrior. I want to really tell people, like, I'm all about fun. I'm all about, and so I rewrote my entire About Us page. And the reason I rewrote my entire About Us page, and it's fun, is because of this practice. Because I did the exercise, which I'm giving to you. And when I wrote down my list of 3 things and I saw the state that I wanted to be in is aliveness and showing up in a fun way. That's what all of these things on my list of 3 were all about. But the mind says, no, you need this thing first to be this thing. No, you don't. You need to be the thing, and then the thing shows up, and you don't even care about the thing showing up because it already showed up. Do you get that? Yeah. It's like, okay, there's my list. And that's why I asked you to let it go. So what some people will try to do is make the thing appear. But I really ask you, have your list, keep the list. I'm going to turn over to the next slide in a moment. But have no attachment to how these things are going to show up for you, when they're going to show up, or even if they do show up. Important. Can everybody get on board with that? Because otherwise, you're going to be thinking, well, that didn't show up this way. And also, I want you to really stay open that it's not going to, it might show up the way you want it, but quite often it shows up differently. And when you acknowledge that you are here only for this plan of awakening, to know yourself and carry this to others, that you are so in the flow now, and you are not holding on to a rigid position of like, I want it to happen just like that. Because all the list is designed to do is to stretch you to a new possibility. Like I have something on my list for next week. I'm not gonna say anything that's on my list. When I invite you not to tell anybody what's on your list too, but I'm curious to see what happens. Like it's something I want next week, and I'm like, But I'm also open to totally something completely different than what I put on the list. But the state of what I want out of this thing is freedom, joy, playfulness. And that's what I want you to do, is to find out what's behind the form. And I want you to step into the form and to step into the accomplishment. And another thing that's behind the form on my list is relaxation, because that's been missing from my life for a long time. Like I'm classic, you too? Okay, good. Well, we're the same, classic Taurus girls.
Slow down on doing.
Slow down on doing. And so I want you to feel excitement now. I want you to feel that you have arrived. Everything you want is here. It's here. Okay? You're a great example, Elaine. So Elaine Falvey in the house, everybody. And Elaine, I've known Elaine for a long time, and Elaine had, you had a vision of community, for one. You had a house, which you felt like a burden a lot of the time, but it also became a place for you because you changed your mind, and so you made it into something that was useful for the plan, which was people coming and going, but you didn't really want it. You wanted a relationship. You had these things, but you let all attachment to how it was going to unfold. And I've listened to you over the years. What should I do with the house? What's going to happen? And literally, I'm not like within the span of a week. I think so. Am I right? Yeah. And like in the span of a week, she sells the house. She lands this awesome guy, totally from out of nowhere, right? You go on the Camino, and then you move to Mexico. Like, am I missing it? And you dropped 30 pounds. Like, all of a sudden, the picture changes. And it didn't all that did not happen in a week, but it actually did happen in 3 months or something. But it didn't just happen in 3 months. She said, "You're a poster child for this work. Get up here." Elaine Falvey.
And you change
Where's the mic?
Closer to the microphone.
Over there.
Lisa's chest. Get the microphone.
When you change your mind, everything changes.
Yeah.
I wanted to go on the Camino ever since Shirley MacLaine did it. So that's how many years ago. I just never thought about it. And then Bill and Lisa talked about it, and it was like, I'm going.
Yep.
I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. I was living off of nothing for a long time. And my house was on the market at that point, and I kept saying, well, I can't go unless my house sells. And I had this obsessive thought. And then one day I just let it go.
Yep.
And as I let everything go and did not get attached to anything, and I got to hang out with the joy generator herself,
Vicki Thomas.
Vicky, right? I learned a lot from her hanging out.
Her up so everyone can see.
Yeah, come on, honey.
Vic.
Come on, Vic. Vicky has play and joy and all of it down to a science. And I've had this tremendous opportunity to spend a lot of time with her. My whole life opened up. I had this thought that I was supposed to call her one day. So I said, Bill, what's her number? Gives me the number, and then I didn't really do anything. And I hear it again in my head, and I went, okay. So I call her up, and I said, hi, Vicky, this is Elaine. You know, from Bill. Elaine, I know who you are. And I go, oh, you do? She's like, yeah. I said, well, I keep hearing I'm supposed to come to your house. I'm supposed to talk to you. And she's like, okay. Do you want to come over and have tea? Yeah. Do you want to come and meditate? Yeah. Do you want to come for supper? I'm on my way. And I show up, and it was like I never left. Like my schedule would clear, and I'd spend a week there. Like it just started happening. I kept hearing all these things. Let go of your house. Let go of this. Let go of that. And as I did, it left an opening for all the new to just flood in.
Mm-hmm.
And my house sold, and literally I paid for the Camino 1 week before we went on it. So if you want to go on that Camino, just put it out there and let it go. And you will go.
Yeah.
And that's just how everything has happened in my life. And this woman is the example that has been put before me, as well as Bill and Lisa. Bill was the first one inviting me into the Course of Miracles. And
brought me here.
Yeah,
see?
Brought me here.
See, she's the one. But because she follows her guidance. She hears everything and just follows. Right?
That's it. Listen and follow.
That's it. We're done. That's it. We're done.
I told Elaine when she called me, but you can't talk. I don't talk. Too much talk.
Right? And that's it. You just follow. Follow your guidance. Lisa always has said that at some point you're going to stop listening to me. You don't need me because you're going to have it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. When you finally get it, you don't need anyone. I mean, you need support, but you know what I mean? You get your own guidance.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. You know, and Elaine brings up an important point of listening to your hunches. So she had thought to call Vicky, and that's what happens. Like we have that voice, which is your true self, is always speaking to you. The voice for God is always speaking to me. But what we do is we just shut it down. We're like, no, I just want to win the lottery. No, I just want the house to sell. No, I just want my health to improve. But the voice is intelligence. This voice is what you are. It's life. It's light. It is literally speaking to you, and it will tell you what to do and what not to do. Just can you hold that for 1 second? Because I want to do the end of this assignment first. So now you're going to turn the card over to what you are going to disappear. You have 3 things. And what you want to disappear is as fun as what you want to appear. Okay. So the formula for this side of the card, I love it, is a total feeling of boredom. You are so bored with this list. You are not going to give it any attention. This is the most boring boring, 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 boring list you've ever seen before. So you want to disappear excess weight, boring. You want to disappear cancer, boring. So boring. You want to disappear? Yes, exactly. Totally. You just go like, I am so bored with this. And so, but if you think about it, what we do with our attention is we spend almost all our time and energy on this list, right? This is our difficult problems. This is our addictions. So we spend all our time and energy and effort trying to make these things go away. We spend our time on Google. We spend our time in the doctor's office. We spend our time talking to people about it. And the reason I like Carlos Castaneda so much is because he talks about energy. And he talks about an impeccable warrior is a hunter. And a hunter hunts power. And every single thing you do is using your energy. So a hunter hunts the things that are wasting its energy. Well, what's the biggest waste of energy? Your self-importance. You caring about your self-importance and your body is the biggest waste of energy. And when you waste your energy, you get sick. Other wastes of energy, complaining, blaming, gossiping, criticizing. Anybody else? What's a waste of energy?
Jealousy,
Unworthiness,
jealousy,
guilt, procrastination. Exactly. So now you can all become impeccable warriors. I actually just put it on my Facebook page. You know, they have that little spot for like your bio. And I'm just like, screw, I'm a spiritual teacher. So I put impeccable warrior with a link to my website because that's how I want to think of myself, like to be always watchful for what my mind is doing and where I am procrastinating. Jesus says in A Course in Miracles that delay in time is tragic.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're identifying with the body and we're not identifying with the truth of what we are. And that's a delay tactic of the ego. And when you actually see that, you won't have any more time for it. You won't have any more time to think about your symptoms. They are boring to you, okay? And then what's going to happen in this practice, I want you to sit with it a little bit longer today, just what comes up for you, and journal about it, like just write about it. What comes up? Because what often will come up is that if you stop paying attention to trying to heal your symptoms, what comes up with that? Usually fear. If I stop putting attention on whatever it is, making something happen, it won't happen, right? Like we think, well, if I stop putting my energy into this, it's definitely going to fall apart. How does that make you feel? What comes up for you? Because this is mind training. Now you get to see the ego's games now. You get to see how it wants you to hold the world together. It does not want you to let go. Anything but let go. And the second you say, I'm done. I'm done with my story of lack and limitation. Done. And then watch how everything starts to show up for you and other things start to fall away from you, because now you're in the light. You are really living in the light and you're moving from this place. You're abiding in this place. And I want you to just really see how that feels for you, to be totally over that list. And I can tell you, over the years, I mean, the two major things for me were alcoholism and then my lifetime habit of trying to lose weight. I've been on a diet since, I don't know, 12 or maybe 10 even, I don't know. But I tried everything to quit drinking alcohol. I tried everything to lose weight, and I have successfully lost and gained weight lots of times. And on both of those things, which are only two examples, I could give you many more examples. When I stopped trying to heal alcoholism, 5 years of making huge declarations, I was done controlling not drinking, not going to drink, not drinking today, not drinking today. I tell people, I'm not drinking, I'm not drinking, I haven't drank for 3 months. What?
Are you drinking today?
Well, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm back then. Are you drinking today?
I'm not exactly. Like, I was a story. I would tell it, I was counting the days. I haven't drank for 6 months. You know, and then when I finally recognized that I just was done with that story, I guess I'm just going to grow old and be a drunk old lady. Okay, fine. And then that's where the acceptance comes in. No, but that's what I thought. I thought I've tried quitting drinking for 5 years and it's not possible. It didn't occur to me to go to AA, but I still don't go to AA. But at that time, it didn't occur to me like maybe that would be a solution. And when I stopped caring about drinking, guess what? Flew right out the window 17 years ago. And I didn't know that I stopped drinking till a month later. And I was like, oh, because every single day for those 5 years, I thought about drinking. Because I was paying attention to the things I want to disappear list. I was putting my attention on what I didn't want. And what I didn't want continues to be in my experience. As soon as I could let it stay, fine with me. Alcohol, fine with me. That's the attitude that I want you to have. 17 years ago, right out. And I actually don't even know the date. Like, it's just like, and I have to do the math sometimes, like when it comes around March, I'm like, how many years has it been? Because it doesn't matter anymore. And the same thing happened with my weight. So I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now, and I decided I'm never dieting ever again. Screw it. I'm so bored. And what I saw was that my constant preoccupation was with hating the body. And when I stopped doing that, when I said the weight can stay, fine with me. I'm going to love myself. That's it. That's my commitment. And that was it. Like, I was like, yep. And I started buying clothes that fit me because I never had clothes that fit me. I always had clothes I was going to get into one day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy nice clothes that fit on a 200-pound body because this is what my weight is. I guess this is what it is. And I started caring for myself. And out of that kind of care, I did start making different food choices. That was it. And I eat whatever I want now, but I have choices. Like, I make choices every single day, and the weight just fell away. And you've had the same experience. Like, it's just gone. And so that's really what this practice is. And we're like flying through the time here, but I want to just read one thing out of chapter 28. And I encourage you to read it. I encourage you to watch the video over at the Teachers of God Foundation. It's called The Little Gap. And because we're out of time, I'm just going to read this one sentence here. It says, there's no middle ground in any aspect of salvation. So you can't hang out in a middle place with this work. It says, either there is a gap between you and your brother, or you are as one. That's it. And so I want you to really find out that the practice that I introduced on the blog this week is to keep filling the gap. Whenever a person comes into your mind as a thought, fill that gap with love. So you don't have to meet them physically, but every time someone comes into your mind, or you read about them online, or you meet them in person, keep filling the gap with love. And then watch if you don't want to fill that gap with love. Nancy's laughing. I love you so much. Because Jesus says to us, salvation is a happy game, happy children play. So it becomes a game now. And what will happen is you will come upon some speed bumps in this work where someone will come into your mind and you will say, no way am I going to give that guy love. And now you have identified the block in you. It has nothing to do with the other person, because when you withhold love from another, you're withholding it from yourself. So now you have a willingness to just give. Just start letting this energy and this love and this light start flowing. You don't have to tell them, but you do have to change your mind and let the hate go. Like, just to really, as a game, say, this is my practice now. I'm just going to extend love everywhere, to everyone, forever. What did Jesus give us as the 2 new commandments? He went and took the old commandments, all these worldly laws, gave us 2. Love God, love your brother as yourself. That's it. Like, it's love. Love is the answer. And so it says, your home is built upon your brother's health, upon his happiness, his sinlessness, and everything his father promised him. So that's important. I wanted to leave you with that, because that's where healing occurs very quickly, when you want success and happiness for everyone. You don't just want to say, oh, that guy's not getting it. That's what we do in spiritual circles. We just say, they have nothing to do with me. They're on their own path. No, they're not on their own path. They're you. You think someone's separate from you, you're screwed. You are. And you just think, well, they just need A Course in Miracles. No, if you think they need it, you need it. and you begin to laugh, because you begin to see the insanity. Like, they need forgiveness. And what I like about the practices in this way to see everything as a hologram, and it's in one of those chapters too, like 28 or something, is whatever your brother says to you is your instruction to yourself. That can be a hard one, right? Those are your beliefs about yourself. Whatever someone's saying to you, just listen. Listen and follow. That's what Vicky said. And whatever you say is your instruction to yourself, but you are projecting it. So whatever you think about that guy, and whatever you think they need to do, you do it. And now that there's like a speed up, that's the quickening. This is the purification that Jesus is talking about in A Course in Miracles. So I love you all. I fill all the spaces with love. Do we have any time, or are we done? We're out of time. I love you. 1 minute.
Time to gather in a big circle.
Okay.
Thank you, Bonnie.
You rock. Did you write a list? Oh, good. I see Leslie in the house. Come here. I'm so excited. Leslie Smith in the house, people.
Thank you. What a great talk.
You want to do the prayer?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just gonna give some announcements first.
Come on, you guys, there's plenty of you. There we go.
Okay, so thank you everyone for showing up. It is your new beginning. And as always, we have a little box in the back there for donations. We totally appreciate your generosity and support. Helps us pay for the space every week, pays for the live stream. There's also a donation button on the live stream if you'd like to give in that way. And thank you for joining us. And it really does make a difference. And this to me is what Jesus was calling us for, is that we join together, that we meet our brothers at the edge of the world, and we take each other's hands. I want you to feel the hand next to you. And then I want you to feel this light going through every one in this circle, like a big circle. It's going all the way around right now. This light is flowing through you, the light of Christ. It's quickening you now. It's quickening you. It's removing all those blocks and those obstacles that you no longer need. Breathe it in. Breathing out. You are an impeccable warrior. You are a hunter of power. And you are hunting now all the places in yourself that you no longer need, and letting them go. So before I have Leslie do the prayer, so excited you're here, is we're going to do the tithes and offering blessings. divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
What a treat to be here. Oh my God, what a great message. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, everyone. That was just such an uplift. I'm so, so profoundly grateful. So let's just close our eyes or gently look down to the ground and relax our body, relax our shoulders, relax our facial muscles and our abdomen, our stomach. Make sure that we just drop down, down, down into the heart. As we release anything unlike the Christ energy, as we release anything that would keep us from being 100% in this now and beautiful present moment, we give thanks for all the blessings that we have received today. We give thanks for all the blessings that we create as we step in and choose love in every moment, in every situation, for ourselves, for our brother. We forgive ourselves and we forgive our brother for anything unlike the power and the presence of pure being, pure love, pure gratitude and appreciation for all that is and all that will be, this day and forevermore. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah.